Hi, I am Emily Hurt, and this is my persuasive speech. The will of the entire people is the true basis of Republican government and of free expression by the public vote of all citizens, without distinctions of race, color, occupation, or sex. The only means by which that can be ascertained. This quote is from one of the famous speeches that was given by Victoria Claflin. I found this from searchquotes.com. Today I will persuade you on why Victoria Claflin was the most influential person in U.S. history. Victoria had many accomplishments throughout her life, but some stand out more than others. In 1868, her and her sister started their own journal, Woodhull and Claflin's Weekly. In May of 1872, she was nominated presidential candidate for the Equal Rights Party. In 1878, she moved to England, where she started her campaign for women's rights and her own newspaper, The Humanitarian. Victoria made a difference by all of these events. Just so you know who we're talking about, it is this woman. That's Victoria. She was born in Homer, Ohio, September 23, 1838. She grew up with her 6 brothers and sisters, and she was self-taught with very little education. At age 15, she married Canning Woodhull, and that following year she gave birth to Brian Woodhull. She earned a living by telling fortunes, and she sold patient medicines. Sometimes she even performed a spiritual act with her sister Tennessee. Canning became an alcoholic, and she decided that she was going to divorce him. But in 1866, she remarried to Colonel James Blood. Victoria and her sister Tennessee became the first women to establish banking and brokerage. According to biography.com, Claflin became the first woman stockbroker, and in 1870 she opened a brokerage firm on Wall Street. She made a fortune on the New York Stock Exchange. Without Cornelius Vanderbilt, they would not have been able to do this. He was a millionaire Victoria had met when she moved to New York. Cornelius Vanderbilt admired Victoria's skills, but there were rumors that he had been with Tennessee as her lover, and he seriously considered marrying her instead. But his large sum of money ended up going to Claflin, and she used this to publish their journal. In 1868, Woodhull and Claflin's Weekly started. This was a big hit on Wall Street, and she proved that with very little effort, anybody can do what their heart is truly set on. In May of 1872, Victoria was nominated as the presidential candidate from the Equal Rights Party, and even though laws prohibited women from voting, it did not stop her from running for office. She argued in favor of improved civil rights and capital punishment, so this gained her support from socialists, trade unionists, and women's suffragists. Ulysses Grant was the man she was running against for office, and he started rumors that Victoria was having affairs with married men. Now this was a big slap in the face so what she did was decide to publish that he was having an affair with a married woman in Woodhull and Claflin's Weekly. But later she was arrested and charged for sending obscene literature through the mail, and she was in prison on Election Day. So Woodhull tried again. She tried to gain nominations for presidency in 1884 and in 1892. And even though women were not allowed to vote, it did not stop her from doing what she dreamed of. Women supported her and the men were jealous. They laughed at her as if women could not do anything. But Claflin proved them all wrong. She always had her heart set on her dreams, and she was not going to stop until she reached them. In 1878, she moved to England to start a new life. Everyone always says they want to start over, but the majority of the time, we don't. When she moved, she continued to do what she loved. She started her campaign for women's rights, and she made her first public appearance as a lecturer at St. James Hall. Her lecture was called "The Human Body, the Temple of God." This lecture was previously presented in the United States. According to History.com, in 1895, she established the Humanitarian newspaper. So any person that can move to a completely new territory and establish a newspaper within just a few years of living there is simply amazing. She truly is an idol for anyone shooting towards their dreams. Victoria Claflin started her own journal, was nominated president, and started her own newspaper. So I challenge women, and men too, to stand out and be a leader. Do not let anything stand in the way of your dreams. You can become as phenomenal as Victoria Woodhull Claflin. After all, she was the most influential person in U.S. history. Thank you for your time.